Special thanks to the Atari Lynx Vault, who provides all the information you hear me spewing in this episode. And if I get things wrong, don't blame them. It's just me being quick and dirty.
Well, the first game up this time is Catkanoid. Catkanoid, like Arkanoid, but cats. And I didn't hate this game. I thought it was interesting. It's listed basically as a homebrew, and I thought it showed some promise. It's something that's kind of rudimentary. It feels like, an experiment. Somebody was doing some work on the idea, and it plays well, it runs well, it just doesn't have a lot to offer beyond a few minutes of entertainment. The neatest thing is that when you rebound the ball, you can actually explode the ball manually by pressing a button, and then it destroys things on the screen accordingly, and then those balls kind of just disappear after a couple seconds, and then you have to build up your power meter again on the side, and then you can explode the ball again. And the longer you wait for the power meter, the more explosive balls that fly out of yours you're able to generate. I did play this game for quite a while. It got a little tedious. I'm trying to clear the whole screen, and I did not make it. And I'm not going to bore you with running it for that long. If you want to try it out, go online, get a copy, or play it on an emulator. Not terrible. All right, up next we have Centipede. Now, Centipede is listed as a clone or a prototype, I think. Actually, it's a prototype. I don't know the origin of it. All my information, as always, is coming from AtariGamer.com, which is now migrating over to the Atari Lynx Vault. According to their website, they always have the most information on these old games on the internet. And I think almost anyone watching this video is going to know what Centipede is. And the really neat thing is they made this so that you have to play it vertically on your Lynx, so you actually have to flip the Lynx sideways and play it. I've oriented the video accordingly, and it runs well. Is it the greatest version of Centipede you're ever going to play? It certainly is not. I'm relatively good at Centipede in the arcade, and obviously that's the preferred version. I spent my childhood playing it on Atari 5200, which is also, in my opinion, a very good version, although since whenever you play it on a home console, you end up usually having to make the sacrifice of playing it more in a widescreen format than the vertical Tate or Tate, I never know how to say that, format. So this is neat. It's a good illustration of things the Lynx could do, and it's worth your time, especially if you're a fan of the old game. You can try it out and see what you think for yourself. Is it the kind of version I'm going to go back to if I'm hungry for a game of Centipede? Doubtful, but I'm probably going to put it in my folder of games that I think are worthy of occasionally having another look. Up next is C-Gull. C-Gull, get it? We're over the sea. Maybe because it's written in C, I don't know. But you see all the options there, and I don't know that there's any difference when you pick any of them. I think it's the same game no matter which version you pick. I played around with a little bit. One of the drawbacks of playing from a ROM cartridge on Lynx is that, at least my version, you have to completely power off the system. And most of these games don't have any way to even reset the game built in. A lot of these homebrews or demos, you have to just power down the system and reload the game in order to try it out again. So this game is neat because you could theoretically play it with two people crowded around one Lynx using the Lynx's buttons to fight against each other. But I am a regular guy who does not have a lot of people around who want to play Lynx with me all the time, and especially play two players on one console, but I do respect the creativity there. So it is harkening back to things that you might have seen in the Atari or the Odyssey or really older systems where, especially the Odyssey 2, which I have a lot of games for myself, where the primary gameplay is best for two players, where one of you controls the Seagull and one of you controls the boat. Now you can play at one player where the AI just controls the Seagull and they shoot at you and you are the boat firing back. And it's as simple as that. It runs well, it looks pretty cool. It's a cool classic concept, and I think it's well done. As far as a homebrew goes, I couldn't ask for much more. I really do like the idea that if I could ever be so blessed with someone lame enough to want to sit around and play Lynx together on one screen with me, we could do that. But I don't know if that's going to happen anytime soon. Up next is Chip 8 Emulator. This one could actually be deserving of a little bit more coverage than I'm going to be able to give it here, since I'm trying to kind of blast through a lot of games in one episode here. As you can see, this has a menu of a lot of different games, a lot of which are effectively clones of popular arcade games. And while not always complete or the best versions ever, as you can see here, there's a Breakout clone here. Pretty neat, works okay. Is it as good as Catkanoid? I'm not sure. Also, we have a Pong clone. I don't think I need to show you too much of that. Pretty self-explanatory. And the problem with this game is that you can't go back to the menu in any way. I could discover you had to reboot the cartridge each time, which did make it a bit tedious for me to try out all the games, But this is really, above and beyond level of effort here. Now we have Space Invaders, and it's not the best one. I don't consider this to be the version of Space Invaders I'd recommend to other people, but hey, for what it's worth, this is why I got into checking out these games. I love it. I love that somebody went to the trouble to try and learn how to develop something like Space Invaders on this console. You see the refresh there and the limits of maybe sprites on each line, or just the refresh rate. I don't quite know the right terms, but that seems to be what it is. I don't even know if I hit every game in my test here. Yeah, I think I skipped Blinky there. I think I go to Tetris. I'm hungry for Tetris. So then I get to Tetris, and here we go. Oh my god, it's Tetris! Look at this. Can you believe it? On the Atari Lynx, made by someone. And it works. Look at this. It works. I mean, again, you see that the problem with the screen refresh. I wouldn't know what I was doing enough to overcome that challenge. I don't know if the person doing this was an experiment or what, but hey, man, this is a cool little collection to try out. And as I mentioned, I'm not going to sit here and review every single game in this collection, but finally we have Joust, a classic, and it looks great. Look at those sprites. I mean, it's single color. What are you going to do? Again, I get the feeling that this was somebody's, experiment to learn how to program games, and they went for the obvious choices of stuff we all know and love. I mean, you can play Joust on your Lynx through the commercial version, but why would you want to do that when you can play this much simpler, purer, homemade version? You tell me. Up next, we have Chopper X. This is another homebrew, and I did not make it to the end of this game, but it is notable for being a game that apparently has at least 4 stages, according to AtariGamer.com. I did make it to stage 3 on one of my playthroughs. It is in this video. I'll probably skip ahead and let you see a little glimpse of it. And I did not make it to the final stage, but it's worth playing for sure. This is definitely going in my folder of games that I'm going to revisit. Best of homebrew folder I keep on my flash cart. So, the first couple runs here, I don't do so well. I don't know, why the main enemy for a chopper would be just stationary balloons, but hey, they seem like good enemies. And then you get to the caves that remind a lot of us of games like Scramble or Vanguard, other stuff like that, And then finally, skipping ahead, you see Bunker City, this is Concrete Bunker is the name of this according to Atari Gamer, which is almost like a little easier. The neat thing about this game is you've got throttle control, so you can speed up and slow down. I never quite determine what made the difference of like when the stage ends, because the stage will just end. You'll just achieve the ending of the stage suddenly. I probably could have figured out if I would have spent a little more time with it, but it seemed like when you finish the stage, it just kind of ends, and then your fuel's total up. The remaining fuel is point value. So really fun. Give it a look. Oh, I did make it to the final stage. Look at that. And I think I might have been bored and just crashed right away. Played it enough. All right, up next is Clicks. Clicks. Great name. Now this may not look like much, but it's probably... I have a feeling this is my favorite one of the games that I played in this episode, and the reason being, I'm really into puzzle games, and given that this is a homebrew, I'm not 100% sure if it's made to be able to be finished or if it's made with like fairness in mind or well balanced in terms of the logic, but if I can explain it, which I may not be the best at explaining the concept, is you can click on any group of touching colors. Diagonal not included, of course, horizontal or vertical, and it'll erase them as you see in the video. And then the stack above it'll collapse, and obviously it behooves you to collapse them in such a way that colors group up furthermore, and then you can collapse the stacks more. What I haven't been able to figure out after messing around with it is where it is best to begin and what your best strategy is, because you'll eventually see in this video when you collapse a stack all the way to the bottom, the entire mountain of pieces will move to the left. So if you create a complete valley, a complete empty slot all the way down to the bottom, which is going to be coming up here soon, the entire mountain of pieces to the right will slide to the left and crunch together. So therefore you'll be able to like unlock pieces potentially that get trapped by sliding pieces from the right toward them to the left, and then clear them eventually. So hopefully my recording here, I'll eventually do that and let you see it. But it really does like then create this like sense of strategy where you're... The neat thing is maybe if you crack the code of this puzzle game, it would become less fun because it might be really simple. I can't say for sure. But I've played this one probably up to a half hour over a couple play sessions, and I had various scores and various results, but I never got close to completely clearing the board. You know, I always had a fair amount of pieces left that were singles, and eventually the game will just tell you, it'll say, you know, sorry, you know, no more moves left and congratulations, and it gives you your score for whatever amount you got. So I don't want to waste your time just like watching me randomly sort of click around and do this puzzle game, so I'm probably going to skip ahead here. In any case, I'll probably fast forward this part and just let you see it in forward motion. But it's a really fun one. I definitely recommend Clicks. Kind of wish the title was a little more creative because I honestly forget what it is every time I open it. I'm like, oh, right, this cool puzzle game. It's a neat one. According to AtariGamer.com, it was made by Matthias Domin. And it was 2001. Should have been saying that for the rest of them. I apologize. You can look these all up on AtariGamer.com or the news site. Up next is Columns. You're not going to see me play this one too long. You know why? I've actually, believe it or not, never played the original Columns yet. I see it all the time at used stores, and I never grab a copy. Not the biggest Sega Genesis fan or Sega Master System fan. Don't even have a Master System, in fairness. But I know it's a classic, and I know I will like it because, like the Clicks, the game we just watched, I am a big puzzle gamer, and even a mediocre puzzle game I tend to find fun. This just feels like it isn't quite finished. Like, as you can see, the pieces kind of bounce around at the top if you drop them there. It's very odd the way they get stuck at the top, and it doesn't give you an automatic game over. And it seems like you're trying to clear lines, but it didn't feel very finished to me. It feels like an experiment. And moving on. Next is Conquest of Zow. Now, this one seems really interesting, and I don't know anything more than what it says on Atari Gamer. It started as a collection of sound and graphic demos, but the project was canceled when the ROM was leaked online, and the developer, Harry Dodgson, stopped all Lynx development. Yeah. Sounds controversial, sounds interesting, sounds like some kind of early version of piracy screwing up a concept. But as you can see, it's a cool looking game, neat sound, and neat graphics, like really advanced. But it's sort of like it's like tech demos of like almost like a developer suite. Like you can use these. It generates these colors, these waveforms almost. I don't know what to call it. Very beautiful looking, really advanced seeming, whatever this is, whatever this was going to be. You saw the spaceship on the front screen. And then jumping ahead, had to reboot it to get into the actual game. This is like the combat computer, so it reminds me of something like a Star Trek or other classic PC or classic early space simulation fighting games, but it's not finished. It doesn't run. See, in this combat mode, you can scroll around inside the viewfinder. It looks like kind of the thing Mr. Spock would look into on Star Trek, and nothing. You can move the cursor, and that seems to be all you can do. If there is something else to do here, someone let me know, but it just feels like this is as far as it got, and it's not finished, with all those graphics and things that were also in the file. Seems like there was a lot planned for this. It would have been a really promising release. Yeah. Up next, Conquistador. Now, I didn't know this game. I'm an older gamer. I've played games since I'm a kid. I played Commodore 64, but I don't recall ever playing this game. And if I did, it wasn't one of my favorites. I never had a Commodore. I played at other friends' houses. But AtariGamer.com lists this as a kind of a homebrew port, a homebrew clone of a game called Aztec Challenge. So it's pretty cool. I mean, it seems like a little cancelable because, like, unless it's being ironic about the idea of a conquistador, but not exactly the hero I would choose to star in my video game. But then again, unless you're very persistent and good, the character eventually ends up getting speared to death. So maybe it is kind of like revenge porn, because you only get one life and you're dead, and you gotta start running again. And I played it a bunch because the graphics run well. It's pretty interesting, and it's not even that hard. And if you're persistent, you do get to what appears to be like a Mayan temple. Hope I'm saying the right culture. And that's cool. I mean, because it's got like sprite scaling, and you just keep running and running. I'm going to fast forward so you can see it, and then at the end, here we go. I'll drop it in right here. It's kind of comical because it does feel like it's punishing you for being a conquistador. Got the Monty Python foot. Awesome, right? Spoiler alert. Pretty cool, right? I'd say check it out. Up next, probably my second favorite of the bunch, and this is our last one for this episode, Cross Chase. Now, this one's pretty wonky because it feels like it's like not quite finished or smoothed up. It feels like someone making kind of like an ASCII game back on an Apple, where you're working around the technology limitations to try and create a game. And it's visually very difficult to understand at first when you glance at it, especially for someone, a modern gamer who never played games back in the early 80s or 70s even. But you are the little blue asterisk moving around the screen, and the zeros, the white zeros, I think are supposed to be skulls, I think is what it says. But in any case, those are the enemies, and you have to lure them into the X's. So the red X's are like, will kill them. And as you can see, I keep running into the walls, and the walls kill you here. This is like, okay, it's like Berserk or something. You can't touch the walls, it's going to kill you. And your goal is to... And there seems to be collision detection problems, because sometimes you can run across certain things like the skulls, the zeros, and other times you get killed, like when you touch them. So it's almost like the logic is almost incomplete. Like you can cross over things if you do it fast enough. But overall, it's really ambitious and it's interesting. I do find myself like playing it for a while when I play it. If you touch the flashing S, it seems like it stops time, seems to be the function, which isn't really that useful, other than for a chance to catch your breath. It's like a pause, but it doesn't do... I couldn't see anything I could do. You see the little number hashes in the upper left-hand corner. That's how many kills you have per level, I believe it's totaling up. And the little yellow plus sign is just like a more aggressive enemy, it feels like to me, that you see there. It's like you just have to run from the little plus, you have to run from the skulls, the zeros, and you have to lure them into the red X's. That is the game. That's the game. And when you get all the skulls into a level, then you advance to the next level. And then there's levels. I didn't get that far. I think I maybe got to the 4th stage. But you get to a part where there's this wall in the center that you can move through. Again, the collision detection seems a little funny. Not exactly perfect, but interesting. It works well. And I think I just like the abstraction of this. I think I like ideas like that, where I'm far from someone who gives a crap about perfect graphics. Every single time I'll take gameplay over graphics. It's probably why I'm so much more of a retro gamer, chicken or the egg. But I really do find the abstraction of a game like this, the concept of it, to be pretty neat. Maybe it's just my arcade gamer roots showing that it's something of that nature, where it's like, hey, I like the puzzle and the Twitch response expectations of this game more than I prefer like a modern open world game with a $1 billion graphics that basically boils down to running around picking up items and fetching them and taking them places. So there you go, Cross Chase, probably my second runner-up for this episode. Anyway, this episode was in the can on my editing suite for literally a year or more. I don't even know when I recorded this footage. I'd have to go look at the file. Probably 2 years coming up on, if I guess correctly. And I don't know when I'm going to get back to this, but maybe I will eventually. I really do enjoy playing the Atari homebrew games. I have a lot of other independent video projects that aren't necessarily for YouTube that eat up a lot of my editing and creative time. And although I enjoy this, it's sort of just a side thing for me. So if you're a big fan, let me know. Comments always help to encourage people. You can always check out my main channel, Uno Clay. This is Uno Clay Gaming, and you can just search for @Uno Clay and find my other channel where I put up silly videos I make with my friends and all kinds of other stuff. This is just kind of devoted to my gaming stuff, and sometimes I regret parsing the two worlds, but maybe it's good for branding. That's a thing people say, right? Have a great one. Enjoy your Atari Lynx.